Hi, this is Dr. Laura Dunn. I'm your accounting instructor for spring 2016, and I'm posting this video because it seems that some of you are still confused about how to do the assignments on Connect. So first of all, let me just start by saying that in order to get to the Connect class, you go to your Canvas homepage, and then I have the link down here. So you would just click on that. Now, if you haven't registered yet, which I don't know that that is anybody in this particular class, but just in case, the way that you register to get on to Connect is by clicking this Register Now button. If you need more information, it explains down here how to register when you have an access code, which would have come with your textbook when you bought it, or how to buy access online. So you could click either one of those things to kind of figure out which way you want to go. But let's just say you had clicked Register Now. It would ask you for your email address so they can check to see whether or not you're already in the system. But if you continue to walk through this, if you're not already in their system, then it would give you the options of either getting courtesy access, which is about 2 weeks of having access to the program without having to purchase anything yet. Now just keep in mind that if you get the courtesy access, that if it says it expires in 2 weeks, it expires in 2 weeks, and you would have to have purchased access prior to that so as to transfer your account over without any interruption. But let's assume that you're already registered. When you go in to do your assignments each week, I'm going to get to where I think what you would see. Obviously, as the instructor, I'm going to see things a little bit differently. I'm also going to click over here on Student View because that should be the way you see things. And let's just go into Chapter 1. The main thing that people seem to be having trouble with is the Learn Smart assignments, because they don't realize what it is exactly that they have to do within Learn Smart. Let me actually go to a chapter that you guys haven't, the deadline isn't passed yet. So if I click on Chapter 3, Learn Smart, it's going to open up to the Smart Book. Maybe. My computer's a little slow, but let's just give that a second. All right, here it comes. Now some of you emailed me and said that when you open this, all you see is the textbook, and that you thought all you had to do was read the textbook. And I apologize if I wasn't clear on what was required of you. But over here, on the side over here, there is Read, which would just take you to the Smart Book. And it's called Smart Book because they've already highlighted things for you so that you can maybe realize that that's what they consider to be important. So this is taking you to, well, it's taking me to the last page I was on in here, but in your case, you might want to go back up here to this little menu thing, and if you go to the table of contents, let's just say you wanted to start reading, Chapter 2, you could just click on Chapter 2, and it would start with that particular chapter. So if you are wanting to read within the online portion and reading the Smart Book so that you can see the highlights and everything, that's how you would go about getting from one page to the next, or one chapter to the next. This one's actually showing you the beginning of Chapter 2. But that's not the assignment part of it. That's just the reading that you need to do to prepare yourself to do the assignment. The Learn Smart assignment is actually the practice portion of this. So you would click on Practice, and
you haven't read anything yet. If you want, you can start to practice to see how well you know the topics in this chapter before you read.
All right, if you just heard that,
SmartBook will advise you to go back to reading if it looks like you do not know the topics very well.
all right, so it's telling me that I haven't read anything within the online version of this book for this particular chapter. And so they're asking me, do I really want to start if I haven't read the material yet? If you don't know anything about accounting, you really need to read the chapter first, because trying to just jump in here and start clicking on stuff just to make it go faster is not going to make it go faster. You're actually going to end up wasting more time and not really understanding the material if you haven't tried to understand it from the book first. If you have a background in accounting, you may be able to jump in here and do this. But if you don't, you really aren't going to understand it. You're going to have to read the material in the textbook first. So once you've done that, and now you feel like you're ready to get in here and start doing the work, if you see here at the bottom, you have to answer 60 questions correctly before you're finished with this assignment. So when you look at this, it's saying which of the following statements about revenues is correct. If you think you know it once you've picked an answer, I'm going to say that's the answer and I think it's correct. So I'm going to say I know it. And it tells me yes, it's okay. So I'm going to move on. If my computer will behave. Okay, so now I see that there's 59 items left. And I would continue to answer questions that way. If I'm not sure, I can click the read about this and it'll take me to the section in the textbook that this is where this is covered, so I can read that first before I try to answer it. I know this is time consuming, but this is the way you're really going to learn and master the material. If you try to skip ahead and do the homework and the quiz first, I think you're going to find it to be a huge mistake. Number one, you really have to read the textbook. And then number two, do the Learn Smart. Make sure you really can go through it and do it effectively without having to just keep guessing at answers, but that you really understand the material. If you do those two things, when you get to the homework and the quiz, you're going to be fine. You're going to probably blaze right through it because you've really mastered the material before you've tried to jump into those two things. Keep in mind that this is a time-consuming course. It is not an easy course. And it's not just because I give you too many problems. It's because it takes that much practice to really master accounting. So this is the way you go about doing the Learn Smart. Again, if I answer another question, which of the following statements are correct regarding the definition of a liability? A liability is a debt owed by the business. A liability is a claim by creditors against the asset of a business. A liability can be settled by transferring assets or services to others. A liability is a thing of value owned by the business? No, it is not. A liability is an asset waiting to be received by a business. No, that's not the case either. So I think I know this. I click on it. It says I'm right. I click OK, and now it says I only have 58 items left. So that's the way you go about doing the Learn Smart. Now Learn Smart, you don't have to sit and do all at one sitting. You can sit down one day, do 15 of them, and then stop. And then maybe the next day, do the next 15. So, it's something you can break up instead of trying to sit down and do all of it in one sitting. In addition, I strongly recommend that you not try to sit down on Monday night when this is due at midnight and do the Learn Smart, the homework, and the quiz. It's way too much work to do in one sitting, and even if you have the time, your mind is going to get frazzled trying to do that much of accounting in one sitting. So you really need to try to use time management to space out the assignments over the course of the week, even though everything is due on Monday night. Do the Learn Smart early in the week, and then the homework, and then the quiz. So I hope that answers any questions you might have. Please let me know by email if there's anything else that I can answer for you. Thanks very much, and good luck this semester.